Look at our guests. In his one and only All-Star game last February at Madison Square Garden, Nick Van Exel had 13 points. Eddie Jones had a game-high 11 rebounds and scored 15 points, the first time 4 Lakers have played in the same All-Star game. When we continue up close, Nick reflects on his relationship with Del Harris. And we'll ask Eddie if Harris deserved to be fired when we continue up close. Welcome back to Up Close. We continue with Nick Van Exel and Eddie Jones, former Laker teammates, still good friends, I think. It's hard to tell as we go along here, but a Charlotte Hornet and a Denver Nugget. You know, we were talking about in the break, and this is hard for me to imagine. I was saying as a layman who's outside the game, that how can you not resent a guy? If we were in an office building and some guy didn't have to follow the same rules that I was expected to follow, I'd resent him. But you guys said if Rodman doesn't show up for practice, if he acts like an idiot, whatever, as long as he does whatever he does in the game, it's fine.
If a guy comes to play hard every night in a game time situation, I can deal with it.
What does bother you?
You at least have to come to the games.
There you go.
At least come to the games.
That's where the line is drawn. We mentioned earlier about Phil Jackson. Can a coach be worth that much? $6-7 million, 6 years. What do you think he's in for here?
He won 6 championships.
Jordan won 6 championships.
My bad.
That was Michael.
Well, I think he's a good coach. You know what I mean? I think he's a guy that everybody's going to respect. I think that's the big thing, is the respect factor, that you're going to have to go out and respect this guy. And once you respect your coach, man, you know, if he comes in demanding respect, every player on the bench is going to love him. So, you know, I think that's what the move was, and it was a good move.
Well, speaking of which, speaking of respecting your coach, you knew this was inevitable. We had Del Harris on the show back in May. Here's what Del said when we assessed. We told him, you know, quoted you about being a cancer. He's got white hair, and there's only one problem with that team. Here's what Del said about his relationship with you.
And we had probably 4 blow-ups in 4 years, and most people who are in a tight situation, and whether it's a marriage relationship or a working relationship, have that when they're in intense moments. And so overall, I thought our experience was pretty good here.
Did it feel like a marriage?
If it was the Water Roses marriage. When Dale first came to LA, you know, it was great. You know, he didn't try to do anything special. He let us play, and, you know, we showed up for him every night. We played great for him. We upset Seattle that year in that first round, and you know, a couple of years after that, you know, NBA Coach of the Year, get a couple big name players, and I don't know where it went, but when he first got there, he was just plain old Dale Harris, and then the tattoos, and then the Hollywood. I think it all pretty much caught up with him, and you know, I think it was a lot of pressure on him.
So you saw him change. I mean, that was one of the most incongruous things about him, to see a guy like this, who's an ordained minister, ends up with a tattoo. But I also have a hard time imagining how somebody could have as bitter a relationship with him as you did, because he seems like such a nice, unassuming guy. Why do you think you two didn't get along well?
Dale, he's a very nice guy. He's very, very nice. He's too nice, as a matter of fact. I just thought that, you know, sometimes he was too nice. He just, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, you know, being there on an everyday basis. We had a pretty young team, so we like to play. You know, we like to run and have fun and, you know, just enjoy ourselves out on the court. And we just didn't feel that. You know, we didn't have that coming down those last 2 years. It was in practices. We did a lot of talking, a lot of standing around, where we had guys who would just cramp up. And, you know, we were so young. We were energetic, athletic. We were ready to go. And that's when we played our best ball, and we just didn't have that the last couple of years.
Did he deserve to be fired?
You know, they started out pretty slow this year. If they knew Robin was coming, they could at least gave him a little bit longer chance to work with Robin and the new team. Nobody really deserves to get fired unless you're just god-awful, but, you know, he wasn't that bad.
How'd you feel, Eddie? You were there for that.
Actually, today I'm still a fan of Dale's. You know, I think what he tried to bring to the ball club was a sense of professionalism. You know, he shouldn't have to go out and try to motivate guys. It's your job, you know what I mean? You got to already be motivated to go out and play basketball. And I thought that's what he tried to bring, and a lot of people didn't accept it. And for him to be fired, no, I don't think he should have been fired. But somebody has to be a scapegoat when the team is not doing well, and always fall on the head of a coach. And that's just the way it's been, and that's the way it's always going to be. And I'm very sorry to see him leave. Like I said, I respected him, and like I said, I'm still a fan of his.
Well, then Kurt comes in. You guys go on a 10-game winning streak. Obviously, it was a soft schedule at that point as well. Now Kurt comes in, does a pretty good job, gets them through the first round. They get wiped out in the second round again. And now, hey, we got Phil Jackson. See you, Kurt. How fair is that?
Well, situations happen, and Kurt fell into a situation where the Lakers was looking for somebody to be more of somebody that was going to come in and demand respect. And Kurt is a player's coach, and like I said, I like playing for Kurt. Kurt wanted me to stay here, and he's a player's coach, number one. And everybody liked Kurt, but I don't think everybody had a lot of respect for Kurt, and I think that's where Phil Jackson comes in.
That's where Phil Jackson comes in on respect. As we go out, we're going to talk with Nick Van Exel and Eddie Jones about their college coaches. Bobby Huggins at Cincinnati for Nick, and a man who's about to give a big bear hug to Eddie Jones here, John Chaney, and his continuing influence. And we'll also get their thoughts on the NBA Finals. Are the Spurs as good as they've looked this week against the Knicks?
Close is a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, a part of the Go Network, go.com.
Welcome back to Up Close, our remaining moments with Nick Van Exel and Eddie Jones. And Eddie, let's talk to you first about the man we saw hugging you at the end there. You don't just spend your years at Temple with John Chaney. It's a lifetime thing, is that right?
Exactly. Once you meet him, the day you sign your letter of intent to be there, he's like a father from that point on, and a great father too. A guy that's gonna discipline you, a guy that's gonna make sure that you have all the things necessary for you to become the best person in life. And he's just taught me so much about the game of basketball, the game of life, and I respect him so much and love him dearly.
But you don't have any cardigan sweaters in your wardrobe yet, right?
Nah, I'm trying to get him to burn his now.
Speaking of wardrobes, Mr. Black Turtleneck himself, Bob Huggins, what's the continuing influence of your college coach on you?
I talk to him every once in a while. He's still crazy, but you would never know he was crazy unless you went to one of his practices, because on the phone he's just real laid back and real mellow. Even face to face, real laid back and real mellow. But he's a great guy. Just wants to win. That's all he really cares about.
Do you think he can win a title? National title?
I think he can, but I think now it's to the point where he needs to just tone it down just a little bit, because, when we came in, the players that we had, we could take it. And, we didn't have anything. We had to earn everything that we got. Now the players coming in, they pretty much got that golden spoon. So, they walk around campus already with their heads up. And, they can't take all the abuse that we could take. And I just think he needs to tone it down. He's got a great recruiting class this year. And they can be successful, but he needs to tone it down. I tell him that all the time, but he doesn't listen.
Okay, let's talk about another coach who you went to. We had Dave Collins on the show right about the time that all this was happening in Charlotte. Are you concerned at all, A, with the fact that he said, look, they let Geiger and Vlade go. Now it looks like they bring you and Eldon Campbell in. They're trying to do some things. But Paul Silas seems to have been a total breath of fresh air. You guys just missed the playoffs. What's it like to play for Paul Silas?
It's incredible, man. He's a coach that he gives you all the confidence necessary for you to be successful. And he gives it to the 12 guys he has on that bench. And last time I played for a coach like that was in college, where he just gave you so much confidence to go out there and be successful. I love him. I love him for that. I even put myself on the line. I even said the fact that, I don't know if I would be back here if Paul wasn't here. And, they signed Paul. And, I'm happy to go back and play for the Hornets.
What if Jordan was a part owner of that team?
That has a little a little effect on it also. Jordan part of it, Paul's part of it. That's wonderful for us.
Okay, we got 30 seconds left. Is San Antonio right now better than they were at any point in the season? I mean, are they a dominant team, or is this just they're not facing as good a competition as a normal finals would be?
I think just game by game they get better. You know, ever since they've been on that winning streak, they just gotten better game by game. I don't care who probably would have been in front of them, they probably would still be doing the same. New York giving them all that they have, you know, without Ewing, with the hurt LJ, they're playing the best they can, but San Antonio's just too good right now.
I think over the 11 games that they had days off, I think they got, I don't think they're best that they were. You know, I think when they're playing Portland, they'd have went right into the championship, they would be dominating. I think there'd be at least 20-point victories. I think right now they may be winning by 12 and 13, but I think that team is so dynamic, and when they're clicking, when they got the shooters going and they got Duncan and Robinson doing what they do, they unstoppable.
Of course, if you had beaten the Knicks 1 out of 2, they'd be sweeping you right now instead of New York. It's been our pleasure to have Eddie Jones and Nick Van Exel up close, and take care of that hand. He's had tendon surgery, folks. Nick Van Exel, Denver, where else? We'll find out where he'll be come later this summer. I'm Gary Miller in Los Angeles. Thanks for watching Up Close. Stay tuned for SportsCenter up next.